Rita gets up.
No,
You
I
know
was
you're not
just-
supposed to listen to this guy.
Mr. Caruso just came in. That's
Right.
sorry, Rita. Sorry, that's good.
Okay, well, we will here because I'm just now going to call our commissioner meeting to order today on March the 15th. So let us
Recording in progress.
Let us stand to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and I welcome everybody too. Thank you. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty. Good. All right, the first order of business is receiving letters of interest. So, Frank, you're going to be up here giving the preliminary engineering and right to the way services, right, for the Douglas Road
Good morning,
and
Commissioners.
Sweet Road.
The Division of Public Works and, Frank Fotia, Board of Commissioners office on the 7th floor of this building. The Division of Public Works has solicited letters of interest for preliminary engineering and right-of-way services for Douglas Road and Bittersweet Road roundabout intersection improvements. That we have received letters of interest from Jones Petrie Rafinsky on Lafayette Boulevard, South Bend, Lockmuller Group, Jefferson Boulevard, South Bend, VS Engineering on North High School Road in Indianapolis, DLZ on East Jefferson Boulevard in South Bend, United Consulting on Allison Point Boulevard in Indianapolis, and American Structure Point, Inc. on Jefferson Boulevard in South Bend. And I would ask that the Commissioners receive these letters of interest and refer them to the Division of Public Works for review and recommendation at a future meeting.
Oh, that sounds like a nice, long lot of recommendations there. So anyway, is there a motion?
No questions. A motion to approve Mr. Fotia's request.
Second?
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on. Next is our commissioners. And the first on there is our accounts payable docket on our agenda. So is there a motion?
Move for approval.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. Now the next nice thing we're going to do is recognize our Employee of the Month. So our Employee of the Month is Kendra Horseman. Kendra? Kim, we want to come up, please? And there she is. Yes.
Kim Karkowitz, Human Resource Director of St. Joseph County. Office is on the 7th floor of this building. The Employee of the Month is something very special to county employees, and this one I think is especially unique because the request for the employee came from a retiree. So one of our retirees came to a commissioners meeting and expressed their gratitude of Kendra helping him with an issue that he had and worked through that issue with him, and he wanted to take time to come to a meeting and let the commissioners know about that great work. I think that means the world when you have those that you help that see that service that you provide. Kendra has been with the county since 2019. She was by my side through COVID. I don't know what I could have done without her, and continues to do great work for all 1,300 active employees and 262 retirees. I appreciate Kendra every day, but also like to see that she gets this well-deserved appreciation from the commissioners in the county. Jack Mell, who is the retiree, said he wished he could have been here today also, but he had to be at work, and just wanted to, again, thank her for her service. Thank you, Kendra.
Thank you. You want to say anything, nurse? We really want to recognize you for your dedication, strong work ethic, professionalism, and dedication to helping current and retired employees of St. Joseph County, and I think you do a great job. Thank you so much. Here. Here's your gift.
Can I talk? Can I talk? Hello? Hello? Thank you. It just wasn't one person coming in. It's the quality of the work that you do daily, and again, oh, okay. You guys want to do the picture first, or? Oh, okay, thank you.
They're taking pictures, but they're not saying anything. Can you hear anything? Huh?
Okay, our next item on our agenda is Business of the Month. Derek?
Business of the month is not here. We'll do them later.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All righty. Then the next thing is Citizen of the Month. Derek?
Sure.
Okay.
Coach Ron Heglinski, can you get to the podium, please?
There he is.
You can go with him, Dean. And he looks just like he did at St. Joe High School in the class of '74, by the way. Thank you. Which we are both members of. Coach Ron Heglinski is a 1974 graduate of St. Joe. He recently retired from coaching basketball after spending 5 years at Mishawaka. His career allowed him to win 434 games as a head coach and hundreds more as an assistant. His career spanned 40 years, which is older than our current attorney here.
This is true.
He was at Knox, Richmond, Wapapani. Is that how we pronounce it? Okay. Jasper, Illinois State, Edgewood, Ball State, Anderson, and Indiana. Cecina, okay. He coached Indiana All-Stars. He coached the McDonald's All-American team, which had a player called LeBron James on that team.
Yeah, just a little point guard, LeBron.
Okay, cool. He continues to teach at Mishawaka and is interested in broadcasting games and talking about sports in a near future. For those of you who have never been in athletics or participated or anything like that, it's a lot of work, especially for the coaches, because the players come and play, but the coach, after practice, is analyzing the quality of the players he has, what strategy he's going to need. It's a never-ending job, and he's done it for his entire life, which is truly remarkable for all the stuff that you've done for the hundreds and probably thousands of kids you've coached along the way. So, again, I appreciate that, knowing you personally, but everything that you've done all over the Midwest, as they say, coaching. So it's been an awesome ride, and I've always appreciated your intensity and your willingness to give your whole life and day and night and all that stuff that goes with it. It's truly remarkable to be that successful, number one, but two, the years that you've done it. So again, I appreciate what you've done. And Dean, if you'd like to say a couple things? Sure. Being the athletic director there.
Yeah, I'm Director of Athletics at Mishawaka Schools, and Coach Heglinski came into us 5 years ago and really helped change the culture of Mishawaka basketball. made it important not just in the St. Joe County area, but made Mishawaka basketball important statewide and you can even say nationwide because of his contacts and his dedication. What he's done for our kids is push them to the next level and also set us up for success for that next coach. And not everybody who's an outgoing coach is interested in the process, but Coach Heglinski is asking us on a daily basis, who are we going to get in there? Who are we going to have? Because he wants this program and wants Mishawaka basketball to be great. And we can't thank him enough for all that he's done for kids as a teacher first and as a coach second. And he's going to stay on. We're very lucky to have him on as a teacher next year to be there for our kids at Mishawaka schools. So we appreciate everything he's done, and his career is unbelievable as an Indiana All-Star coach, McDonald's All-American, and everything that he's done. We appreciate everything that Coach has done here, and of course in St. Joe County, and we appreciate you having us here today. Thank you.
You're not going to do a Brady and unretire next year, are you?
No, I don't think so, but it's always on the table, man.
Okay, all right,
It's always on the table.
cool. Deb?
I appreciate this. I appreciate you honoring me like this. It's been a great ride for me in coaching, and the wins and losses are always really important because that's why you do it. But the opportunity to develop relationships and hopefully steer kids in a positive direction is why I've always done it.
Oh, I appreciate everything you've done too, but I certainly also appreciate all the Mishawaka athletic programs. So thank you so much for all you do. Glad updating.
And
Dean,
Coach,
you do a
it's
good job. Thank you.
me and you and a dog named Blue, is that how that goes?
Yeah, no, I love that tune, man. Come on. All that stuff's from the 70s,
The 70s.
Come on up, man.
70s. Yes. 70s.
And Steve, that's Lobo, 1971.
1972, Lobo's greatest hits.
No, 71.
Could have been.
Look it up.
Could have been.
Look it up.
You can never argue with a politician, right? Thank you very much.
All right, buddy. See you guys. Thanks, Dean. All right.
Thank you. Thanks, Derek. Appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay. Our next thing on the agenda is the Portage Manor Board appointment. So I'll need a nomination. Is there any nomination?
Mary Ann Tucker.
Mary Ann Tucker. Okay. Are there any other motions for a nomination? None? All right. I will approve that. Any other motion to approve?
I will second that.
Okay.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. Well, we have a few bills passed by the St. Joseph County Council that could become our ordinances. So ordinance number 1 that we have is 3922, which is a salary amendment to recognize the auditor's office. Any comments or questions on that?
John Murphy, do you have anything to add?
This is John. This is just a partial reorganization of the auditor's office. There's no change to the overall budget for this year. There'll be a small change of about $7,000 in 2023 to the budget.
Okay, thanks, man.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. This will be our ordinance number 4022, which is another salary amendment to increase the pay for the election boards. Any comment on that, our board?
Sure,
Questions or
would you guys like to speak or give a quick synopsis of this? Are you all good? Okay, cool. Well, at the end of the day, this is something that's needed to help out with what the hardworking people of the county do during election time. So I will support that. And the one question, because I came to the county council meeting and asked if anybody regarding the map redistricting had reached out to our people about further, do you want to speak to that? Okay, cool. Well, you're standing up on me like that. I didn't know. Okay, cool. I gotcha. So anyway, the moral of the story is nobody had contacted the county clerk's office or the election board or voter registration during the map redistricting to ask them how the new boundaries would affect that. So just an FYI. So I'm supporting this and I'll move for approval.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I'm going aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. Our next ordinance is number 4122, which is another salary amendment to pay grant-funded positions out of the fund of the State Department of Health. Any questions or comments about that, board?
Amy, do you have anything to add to this?
Hi, yes, this is Amy Rupie, Administrator for the Department of Health with offices on the 8th and 9th floor of the County City Building. And this Fund 9164 is the reimbursement that we get from the State Department of Health for administering COVID vaccine. However, they put a letter out at the beginning of 2022 stating that all of these funds should be quietus into Fund 1159. So we are transferring the money from 9164 to 1159.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Okay,
Oh.
is there?
You're welcome.
I'm moving for approval.
I was going to say, I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, our next ordinance is number 4222, which is another salary amendment for the prosecutor's office. Any questions or comments about that?
Yeah, sure, come on up.
Oh, he's going to make some comments. Okay.
So just for the people who may be listening on Zoom, Hodge, we've kind of changed the format here, where traditionally we had just passed this whole thing, but now we're doing it individually because there's some people who may have not been at the county council meeting. So we just wanted to tell people exactly what's going on when we go to vote on this. So go ahead.
Yes, Bob Reisenhoover, Prosecutor's Office, offices on the 10th and 6th floor of this building. This is a request to pay out of prosecutor pre-diversion plans the salary and the fringes for 5 commanders that are now assigned to investigation within the prosecutor's department.
Okay. Yeah, I had a question. I didn't get a full understanding of the 5 commanders on, like, 3 of them, I believe, used to be in the homicide unit, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So now what are they a commander of?
They're not they're investigators.
Okay, but it's listed under commander here on the account name?
Yes, that's where it is in the budget. We use the same budget lines as the approved budget.
Okay, so they're not in charge of a group or whatever?
No, this was done after the budget of last year, in July, August, or whenever we did them.
Okay,
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah.
okay. And again, why did they all get a $5,000 bump?
This brings them back up to the salaries they made last year.
Okay.
All right.
But last year they were in a homicide unit,
Yes.
but they're not anymore.
No, there is no homicide department anymore.
I'm aware of that. I'm just trying to figure out why they got bumped up to a unit they used to be in that no longer exists.
Because they went as, instead of commanders, they're now investigators under the prosecutor's department. They do investigations for the prosecutor as they're assigned by Ken Cotter.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, but to me, it really doesn't make sense that they were in a homicide unit and now are getting back to the salary that they were under when they're no longer doing in a homicide unit. So I'll talk to the prosecutor about that. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, I will second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Reluctantly, aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. All right, our next ordinance is 43-22, another salary amendment in compliance with the interlocal agreement for the Special Victims Unit.
Yes, Bob Reisenhover, Prosecutor's Office. This is an appropriation and salary amendment for the new Special Victims Unit interlocal agreement with the City of South Bend and Mishawaka.
Good. Any other comments or questions about anything?
Of course. So the new family violence, does it deal with domestic violence or just family violence?
This is a special victim, so it would not include domestic violence. The old system did. This is a scaled-down version of the Special Victims Unit that does not include domestic. Domestic will still be handled by each local police department.
Right, so domestic violence will no longer be part of this.
No.
It's just
It's too bad, but that's
unless
the way
there was
it came
a
about.
family violence with somebody like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And what, I know that was disbanded, what would it take? Because that's, domestic violence, you're going to get a lot more cases than you do with family violence. Was that just a monetary issue of personnel and all that they had to?
I would imagine it was started from the city of South Bend, so hopefully that will go back.
Okay. And for the record, I think it's the city that bailed on the homicide unit also?
Yes,
Okay. I have no further questions.
thank you.
Is there a motion to approve this ordinance?
Sure, I'll make a motion for approval.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I'll go aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, our next ordinance is number 44-22, another salary amendment for Prosecutor's Office. And it's increased to pay for the paralegal to correspond to an increase in duties.
Yes, Bob Reisenhover, Prosecutor's Office. This is to bring up the paralegal to do additional duties, basically for the body cams and car cams for video. These all have to be converted for trial, and this is to pay this person to do the added duties for this. It's a full-time job, so.
Okay, any other comments or
Again,
questions?
that's paid out of pretrial diversion, salary and fringe.
Yeah, I have a question. Do you know offhand what the budget is in that pretrial diversion? Offhand?
For the whole fund,
Yeah, do you know?
right now we've got $225,000.
Okay. And that's able to spend at the discretion of the prosecutor
Yes,
for
by,
equipment and training and all that?
right, by definition, that's
Right,
what he can
cool.
spend it for.
Thanks, dude.
All right, so did you say, you approve, is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Oh, you'll second it, okay.
Okay.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye,
Motion carries.
good. Okay, thank you. Our next is ordinance 45-22, which is COVID hazard pay for FSSA Adult Protective Services staff. That's a salary amendment.
Yes, Bob Reisenhuber, Prosecutor's Office. This is from FSSA APS. This is to reimburse or to pay bonus pay, COVID pay, to the investigators with APS. They've never received hazard pay in the past. This is paid through a grant from APS, an additional grant.
Good. Okay, and are there more comments or questions about this?
Sure, I have a question. So there's currently 7 APS people?
Yes,
Okay. Do you know what
there's
case-
actually 8. There's one of them that's not a field person, it's
Right.
a data entry. They did not get
Okay.
COVID pay.
Okay. And was that 3,500 that everybody got? Because I don't, John Murphy, you still there?
I am, yes.
What was the rate the higher rate that people got who actually had contact with people for the COVID money? What was more than
Oh.
3,500, right?
I think that it was in certain cases, yes. I can look it up. I can look that up while you're meeting.
Do I need to filibuster until you can get that?
Possibly. Could we come back to that real quick? I can get that.
Because I think that, do you know if that, because I think that was low, the lower rate?
This is the amount that the grant awarded. So we took the grant money and divided it based on what the director recommended.
Because I remember stuff coming through that there was a lot of other people who got considerably more and they had no contact with the public like your people would.
I
So-
really don't know. There was,
Well, I'm just trying to help you out.
I don't know how many people of the investigators got COVID, but several of them did get COVID.
Okay.
And
Well, that's the point. So, John, like, if there's a different way to do that or number, just, if you don't have to find it now, just let us know later. I guess we could amend it.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, probably the average is it's actually about 1,500. Some departments were higher, some were lower, so, but this is different, a little bit different because it is grant funded.
So was that
These are-
based, John, did they base that on each department gets a certain amount or would they did do it individually?
It was like a tiered system, like, there was like 3 levels of hazard pay depending on how much in the field you were, but it kind of varied quite a bit actually. Like the PSAP got 600 on average, recorded 900. I think it was like maybe 600, 900, and 1,200 were the different ranges. So this is a little bit higher, but it's grant funded. None of these other ones were grant funded that were paid.
Okay. And why, do you know why y'all didn't get that in the first round? Was it just an oversight or?
no, the prosecutor did not give hazard pays when the rest of the county did. This is all, like John just said, this is at the direction of FSSA. They get federal money. If we don't use it, it goes back to the federal people.
Okay. John, was that what sort of happened at Ducombe Center also?
Ducombe Center did eventually apply for and receive hazard pay. They averaged 1,500 per person.
Okay. I have no further questions at this time.
Thank you, sir.
I was just saying, any further questions? Okay. So is there a motion to approve?
So moved, seconded.
Okay, I'll approve it too. Yeah.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. That's mine.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice
Thank
answer.
you.
Okay, our next ordinance is 46-22, monthly transfers and appropriation bills. Any comments or questions?
It's way too long for questions.
Right, okay. Is there a motion to approve?
Yes, I make that motion.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, then our next ordinance is 47-22, and it's a salary amendment for Portage Manor to pay nurses who work in the COVID isolation unit out of ARP funds. Any questions or comments?
Anybody from Portage Manor here?
Yes, not.
This
I'll
is
make a
John.
motion. Hello?
This is
Frank can talk on it. He's on the board.
Frank?
Frank is on the board.
Frank Fotia, Vice President of the Board of Portage Manor. This request is to utilize some ARP funds with Portage Manor recently had a small outbreak of about 5 or 6 residents who did have COVID, and they have to be isolated in a separate wing with separate nursing staff. And they had approached the auditor's office to see if there was a way to use American Rescue Plan funds to cover the salaries of those nurses, the additional hours that they needed in overtime for that particular unit. And the auditor's office was able to put that request in. So that's where this request is coming from, is to cover the overtime for the nurses that are working just in that COVID isolation wing.
I'm glad that we're able to do that and help them, yes. Any other comments or questions?
Move for approval.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do
Aye.
you vote? Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, our next ordinance is 48-22, Public Nuisance Code Enforcement Ordinance.
I'd like to make a motion to hear 4822, 4922, and 5022 all at the same time.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I'm sticking with aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
We could take them all up at once.
Abby?
All right. Abby Wiles, Area Plan Commission Director, offices, Department of Infrastructure Planning and Growth offices on the 7th and 11th floor. As Commissioner Dieter motioned, to hear all 3 ordinances together, they're part of a code enforcement program that we are launching in 2022. Just as a summary for everyone who's here, we did extensive public outreach on the program. We had 4 public meetings starting in January. We set up online comment forms. We received over 60 comments. We provided responses to each of those in a comment matrix that was posted on the website for everyone to review and read. We made several changes to the ordinances based on public comments. Everything, including red line versions, were posted to the website. This went through Council 9-0, so a lot of public support for it. I can cover the major changes if you'd like, or answer any questions that you have.
Well, so we have, again, 4822 is Public Nuisance Code, 4922 is Abandoned Vehicle Code, and Ordinance 5022 is Weed and Rank Vegetation Code. Okay, are there any public comments about it? All right, hearing none. There was a motion to approve, so we approved it.
Before I make that motion,
Yeah.
I would just like to thank Abby for a tremendous
yes.
amount of work during this whole process that we started months ago. Actually, Bobby Krasinski and I went to Abby, and she did all the heavy lifting. Frank for keeping track of the data, because in the 12 years I was on the city council and my short tenure here, which hopefully will last another term, Mr. Mish?
At least.
Okay. But that being said, the amount of work and community involvement that y'all did was tremendous. And in addition to that, we have Stephen Savannah. Couldn't get any better people to be leading the charge when this stuff starts on April 1st, and I'm sure their caseload will be pretty voluminous in the first couple weeks. Well, it is now, and you haven't even started. So again, it's a fantastic thing for the county. I think it's going to be money well spent for our employees, but the things that we're going to do in the county to clean it up and make it habitable for people who live next to places that are abominable is going to be a great thing. So thanks for all the hard work.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I'll make a motion for approve. Do we go individually? What do you
Let's
wanna
approve
do?
them individually.
Move for approval for 4822.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Move for approval for 4922.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Move for approval for 5022.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Oh, I said second that, yeah.
She's second, so I'm going aye.
And Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motions carry.
Okay.
Congratulations.
All right. Cool. Moving on now, we'll be on the Human Resources. Kim has some comments. First one is approval of medical plan description for active employees in St. Joseph County.
Kim Karkowitz, Human Resource Director, St. Joseph County, offices on the 7th floor of this building. St. Joseph County Health and Wellness Benefit Plan was originally adopted in 2016. As we had many changes, amendments have come on those. With that, to make it better for the employee and retiree to understand the plan, we did a rewrite that included that original plan along with any changes that we had going through the adoption of the new plan of January 1 of 2022, which amends all of the restates the original signed and all the changes that have been done there forward.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Well, Mr. Augustino, do you have anything to add to these?
See, I'm on.
Oh, there, think I'm on. I have reviewed these plans and they do update. I will say that there is a provision on subrogation in each of these plans that will need some correction, but that is not going to prevent adoption of these plans today. That can be handled in the enforcement of the subrogation provisions in these plans. Otherwise, I think a lot of good work done by Kim and by Troy Scott and Bob Frick, and appreciate all their work on this. And I will also add that there's been significant savings to the county. I know you can't always make everyone happy with everything, but there have been significant savings to the county in the health plan. And I think Mr. Murphy has distributed those reports over time. So we're on the right track in terms of controlling medical costs for the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll be back. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, second thing on the human resources is approval of medical plan description for retired employees of St. Joseph County.
So the county has 3 plans, one being an active, one being a retiree that is between the ages, under the age of 65. And this would be that plan, which would be the exact same plan with what we had back when we implemented it in 2016, along with those changes that we have done thus forward. So this is, again, just to make the plan easier to be able to read and understand.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you
Aye.
vote? Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, good. And the third one on the human resources is approval of medical plan description for the retiree supplemental plan for St. Joseph County.
So this plan would be the supplemental plan, which would be retirees that are over the age of 65 and over. Again, this plan was restated as it was when I originally put it for 2016 and has those changes there forward.
All right. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Kim.
Thank you, Kim.
Okay, next on our agenda is the adult probation. Oh, Jesse? Okay, the first one is approval to apply for grant from the Indiana Supreme Court to be used to enhance the ability to test for additional drugs of abuse.
Good morning, Jesse Carlton, Chief Probation Officer. Office is located here on the 4th floor of the County City Building. This is a grant that we've applied for and received in the past, so we're trying to continue that trend. It does allow us to have an enhanced panel for those that are in our drug court program, our veterans court program, to attest for additional drugs of abuse.
I got a question. What other drugs?
Specifically, the panels on this one is a heroin-specific test and benzodiazepines.
Okay. And are those, a lot of those that the people come in and drop on Saturdays and weekends and stuff?
Yes, Yep, everything that comes in through our lab. With the Drug and Veterans Court, they're on random testing schedules. So it's any time between 9 and 7, Monday through Friday, and then Saturdays from 9 to noon.
Okay.
All right. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve?
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All righty. Second, adult probation is approval to apply for grant funds approved or offered through Family and Social Services Administration to be used for salary and benefits for the LIRAC coordinator.
So, again, Jesse Carlton, Chief Probation Officer, also Chair of our local Justice Reinvestment Advisory Council. So in July of this past year, Governor Holcomb signed a law into effect that required us to create a local Justice Reinvestment Advisory Council. It's to look at our criminal justice system, gather the key stakeholders, use data to figure out what we can do better, how we can improve safety, reduce recidivism, and be most efficient and effective in implementing any improvements. We have the opportunity to apply for a grant to help with the coordination of these benefits. So these grant funds would cover the salary, PERF, health insurance, and FICA completely for this position to assist us with the development of the bylaws, vision statements, gathering the data, and developing our plans moving forward on how to improve the system.
Sounds good. All right. Is there a motion? Oh, you have any other questions?
I absolutely do.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What, is this just a one-year grant?
Yes, sir, one-year grant.
Will you be able to apply, or do you know how that's going to?
We're not sure. The way the grant was written, I'm assuming it's an implementation grant. So depending on how it would look, we would probably, if we want to continue it, we would have to come back to the council to try to ask for some funds for that later on down the road. But we want to see how it goes with the first year. So.
Okay. So would this be a person out of your office who would do this, or somebody have to hire cold, or what?
So we're going to post it. So if it's approved today, we've already written the job description and everything for it. So we would have it posted. We would go through the interviewing hiring process. The person that would be selected for the position would be approved by our local JRAC. And then the oversight, daily operations, I'm going to find a home for them in probation. So a cubicle, an office, an interview room. So we'll house them and help them work along the way, since they'll be working with me primarily as the chair. The general oversight for the position will come from the council as a whole, though, because they're going to be responsible. This position coordinator will be responsible for those deliverables of, again, the bylaws, mission statements, the data, and the plans moving forward.
Okay, but they would be under your supervision then, correct?
Yes, the way we've designed it so far.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
But it would make sense, like, instead of one year shot, and hopefully, I don't know if they will, the state will analyze the data that y'all, get together on to, like, not just for political purpose, have a grant, and then 1 year and you're out. So hopefully, so let us know, because I think that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
I agree. All right,
Thank
thank
you,
you so
Deb.
much. All right, so is there a motion?
Motion for approval.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Next thing on our agenda is infrastructure, planning, and growth. So, approval of professional services agreement from Adam Marsh Consultants for the State Road 4 right-of-way study. Bill Shalio.
Bill Shalio, Economic Development, part of Department of Infrastructure Planning and Growth with offices on the 11th and the 7th floor. Before you today is a memorandum and a professional service agreement from Avon Marsh Consultants to study the road right-of-way on State Road 4 from the entrance of Potato Creek State Park east to 931. There's already a similar study that's been completed from town in North Liberty to the front entrance of Potato Creek. That was done by the state in coordination with Avon Marsh as part of the utility planning that's being done to get water and sewer to Potato Creek for the new Potato Creek Lodge. What we're ultimately looking to do is to create a right-of-way corridor in which we could develop a pedestrian or a bike trail system from town of New Carlisle or town of North Liberty to town of Lakeville, going to Potato Creek. So this work is, again, half of the study area, so it's from Potato Creek to Lakeville. The amount is a not-to-exceed contract of $9,500. At the Redevelopment Commission, they also approved a memorandum of understanding with MACOG to actually go out and do a study of alternative corridor or alternative alignments for a trail. So this work is necessary for that ultimate study. So again, asking for your approval of this not-to-exceed amount of $9,500. Any questions? I'd be happy to answer.
Sure,
Sure.
sure. How long would that, you have the linear mileage of what that trail would be?
So it's about 11 miles from Potato Creek to Lakeville. It's 9 miles from Potato Creek back to North Liberty.
Okay.
And obviously, it depends where they tie in, but.
Right, it depends what kind of bike he rides also, but at the end of the day, is that the Lakeville one with the barn that y'all helped out with infrastructure? And, because I rode out in North Liberty on there, would that connect to their trail that goes around their school?
Yeah,
and
so
the ball
it
field?
probably will connect in right about Washington Street where their trail.
Okay.
I think they've got a hawk signal that crosses, so it would be somewhere in that area where it would connect into that trail system. Again, it's one of these challenges trying to figure out, is it on State Road 4? Is it,
Right.
is it in another corridor through that area? And so that's what the study will do. This will look at right-of-way opportunities for us.
Okay, and if all this stuff, which is gonna go through the study, when would you anticipate? Couple of years?
So the water sewer, as I understand, gets constructed to Potato Creek next year. So if we can find a corridor from that North Liberty to Potato Creek piece, there might be the potential to build that section of trail in conjunction with that construction. I think the trail east is going to be a little more complicated. A, it's a little longer. B, the terrain's a little more complicated. So that could be a little longer piece to construct.
Okay, that's good. I just want to, when we have our commissioner bike club, that'll be another cool trail to do, so thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, it sounds nice. Okay, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. Next thing on the infrastructure planning and growth is approval sanitary sewer service area study and right-of-way corridor analysis. Bill?
Yes, so this is a proposal, again, approved by the Redevelopment Commission meeting at its last, or approved by the Redevelopment Commission at its last meeting. So over the last year and a half, we've been working with City of Mishawaka to examine development potential along the Capitol Avenue corridor. So from basically Jefferson or the river all the way up to the toll road. What are the development opportunities? Where should annexation boundaries end and start? And whose responsibility is what? All of this really got started when we applied for a local tracks grant through the state to look at the potential to put in an overpass at Douglas Road over the Canadian National Train tracks. So a lot of coordination has gone into this conversation. Years ago, about the time that Capitol Avenue was being developed from Jefferson to McKinley, and about the same time that the Hummer 2 plant was being developed, City of Mishawaka built a lift station for sewer service just east of Capitol, just north of Jefferson. That lift station was always proposed to be to provide service in a sewer study area, sewer provision area, north all the way up to Capitol Avenue. So what we're asking to do today is to actually go through and redefine the corridor, look at the development potential, look at the sewer capacity requirements for that area, but also as part of this project, then also looking at the potential to do rail in that corridor. So rail from McKinley north to Capitol, or north along Capitol up to Cleveland to connect the Elkhart and Western Railroad or Pioneer lines up to the Canadian National Line. So this study is, again, been approved by the Redevelopment Commission. It's a not-to-exceed study in the amount of $61,150, and staff had asked for your favorable approval.
Any other comments or questions?
Sure. Does this have anything, like, I guess, conjunction with the bike and foot trail y'all were looking at?
So it actually, yeah, so that, the bike and ped trail will be really developed on the west side of the road. This is from the east side. And so all these pieces are part of studies that all fit together.
Okay, is this like, I just saw in the paper, Mishawaka bought the Dodge property and all that. but that's farther east, correct?
The Dodge plant is actually south along the railroad tracks, they got a fire station next to it. It's south of downtown.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Well, I'm in that area, and I'm approval of getting, the study getting done, so we can do the right thing and help people that live there. That's good. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Okay, go ahead. I was going to say all those in favor, but you'll say it.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Good. Okay. Number 3 is for the infrastructure planning and growth is approval of professional services agreement from Orbis Environmental Consulting for performing a Phase 1A archaeological survey, another survey.
So in your packet again is the proposal from Orbis Consulting and Orbis Environmental Consulting to do a Phase 1A archaeological survey on IEC Site 2. That's the properties that we generally describe as at the southwest corner of Edison and Larison Boulevard. This study is the Phase 2 of work that's previously been done. The first phase of the study, as well as several other studies, were paid for by a grant from AEP, American Electric Power. This work exceeds because it's an additional piece, it's outside of the funding that we received from AEP. It's in the amount of $10,245. And so what we're asking for, there's additional field work that may have to be done as part of this work, so we're asking for a not to exceed amount of $12,000. Redevelopment Commission approved this at their meeting. Staff would ask for your favorable approval. Please.
Any comments or questions that you have?
No.
None? Okay. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Good. Okay. Now, the next, Frank's coming up here? You're,
Frank going to do those? Okay. Good.
Yeah, okay. So, an infrastructure planning and growth, number 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all bid requests.
And 9, I believe.
And 9? Oh, yeah, that
Yes.
is. 9's a bid request, too.
So Frank Fotia, Board of Commissioners office is on the 7th floor. I am here on behalf of County Engineer Sky Metters, who is at Purdue at Road School, asking permission to advertise for all the annual bids for bituminous patching materials, traffic paint and signage materials, fuel, oil, lubricants, and miscellaneous materials, liquid bituminous and miscellaneous aggregates, and drainage pipe and structures, guardrail, and bridge materials. We'd like to advertise on March 18th and March 25th and receive bids at your meeting on Tuesday, April 5th.
Any comments or questions?
Frank, does he have any ballpark figure what these would be at all from previous?
I can get that for you. He did not provide it to me, but
I'll see him. That's fine. I'll see him.
Well, I think it's going to be good that we can get those bid requests to make sure we can get things hopefully done then properly. So is there any motion?
Move for approval.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries to approve 4 through 9.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next thing on our agenda has been our old business things. And unfortunately, we're going to have to maintain them on our old business. Okay?
You don't have to motion to, you have to motion to get it off.
Okay.
You can just leave it.
Just leave it on the old business, okay. All righty. Now, my next question is, are there any public comments?
Yes.
Typically, we'll do the people in the room first, and then we will call for people online.
Okay.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
We can, and if you could state your name and address for the record, and please keep it to 3 minutes. Thank you.
Okay. Deborah Durrell, 21677 Otten Road, South Bend. My generation has made many mistakes. We borrowed this planet from you, and we've done it great harm and destruction. Giving it to you now, we are ashamed. It's not as we would wish it to be. You are receiving a beautiful planet that is damaged and wounded. We are sorry. Our civilization is a civilization of borrowing, and we have borrowed too much from you, our children and grandchildren. The planet and future generations are also us. We are not separate. The planet is us, and you are also us. It is very important to wake up and see that we don't need to borrow anymore. What is available in the here and now is already sufficient for us to be nourished and to be happy. Only with this kind of awakening can we stop the destruction. It's not something that can be done individually. We have to wake up together. Our way of living our life and planning our future has led us into this situation, and now we need to look deeply to find a way out, not only as individuals, but as a collective, as a species. Many of us are barely awake. We're living in a world, but we can't really see it. It's as though we are sleepwalking. To wake up, first of all, is to wake up to the beauty of the earth. You wake up to the fact that you have a body and that your body is made of the earth and the sun and stars. You wake up to the fact that the sky is beautiful and our planet is a jewel of the cosmos. Second, to wake up means to wake up to the suffering in the world. You wake up to the fact that the earth is in danger and living species are in danger. You want to find ways to bring relief, healing, and transformation. This requires a tremendous source of energy. The extinction of species is taking place every day. Researchers estimate that every year over 20,000 species go extinct, and the rate is accelerating. This is what is happening now. It is not something in the future. After the last mass extinction, it took the Earth 100 million years to restore life. If our civilization disappears, it will take a similar time for another civilization to reappear. Mass extinction has already happened 5 times, and the one underway now is the 6th. When we start to re-examine our views and change our way of thinking and seeing things, it becomes possible to transform the mind of discrimination that is at the very root of our suffering. Once we touch reality deeply in the present moment, we touch the past, the future, and we touch eternity. We are the environment. We are the earth, and the earth has the capacity to restore balance. These were the words of Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist monk who fed and sheltered people during the Vietnam War and passed away recently.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah.
Another public
You have
comment?
a verse for us, Mr. Crusoe?
Yeah, sure. Roses are red. Good morning, Dan Caruso, 305 Compton Street, New Carlisle. Was able to attend an informational meeting last night on the solar project proposed for the area, which was originally taken up by a group called RES, but now is being taken over by somebody called Light Source BP. In attendance last night were Commissioners Fleming and Dieter, also Commissioner candidates Kevin Connery and Don Westerhausen. There was representatives from Redevelopment Commission. Chris Brown was there. Phil Garrett was there. I was a little disappointed with the format because I expected to go into just a general meeting with all of us addressing the same person who was speaking to address our questions to. But people were stationed around the room at different areas, and you just kind of wandered from post to post, which I find you can get different answers to the same question doing it that way. It's best to have it presented to the body as a whole so everybody at least gets the same information. What you do with it in your brain is another thing, but you're close to getting the same information. But I talked mainly to Darren Jacobs, who is the development manager of Light Source BP, and I had most of my questions answered satisfactorily. I'm real happy. My assumption was that each of those approximately 375,000 panels would have a chunk of concrete under it, and was happy to find out that those panels will be pole mounted. When it comes time to take things apart, we're not stuck trying to figure out how to get hunks of concrete out of the ground. He also that I brought up the question of, is this going to be a new TIF district? He indicated discussions were taking place that yes, it would be a new TIF district, but not your traditional TIF. This TIF district has one person using it, Light Source BP. There won't be other parties coming into it, and they will participate in the local taxing entities at the normal rate that the resident does. They'll be paying the same thing into the schools, the libraries, all the public utilities that I pay over there, which that's another one of the problems I had with it, with the TIF district, but not being a traditional TIF. And he referred us to a meeting next Monday night with the Office of Economic Development, who will be discussing I guess the terms of this new TIF.
You have 15 seconds.
Okay, I came away feeling very happy about last night, and I just say to the rest of the county, see what happens when you engage the people who are affected by these things you want to do with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments?
Anyone else in the room first? If not, we can go online. If you can use the raise hand feature or enter into the comment. I think we have a Josh.
Yes, there it is. There's the raised hand. Good morning. Josh Osmond, 66354 State Road 331 in Wyatt. Today was another testing of the tornado sirens, and for the fourth test in a row, the one in Wyatt did not go off. I have called the county emergency management 3 of the last 4 times, including today, and each time I was told the same thing. We're sending a technician. Allegedly, they've sent a technician the last 2 times, and it's still not working. That's 4 tests in a row. Our siren is not working. I would like someone, please, to fix our siren. Thank you.
Hey, Josh, you still there?
Yes, I am.
Him? Do you have a pen, pencil, or you have a good memory if I give you my phone number to call me?
Give me just, there's a pen.
Pull over, don't hit something.
I'm parked somewhere.
Okay.
So, all right, go ahead.
532 2200.
All right.
Because I've had several other people complain about that also. So, yeah, give me a call. We'll be done here in a couple minutes, right, Mr. Mish?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, call me at
All
like
right,
10.
I will do that.
All right,
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Appreciate that too. All right, any other public comments?
I'd like to make one.
You are who?
Cheryl Nix.
Okay.
I had my hand up. I don't know if you can see me.
You're fine. Just state your name and your address for the record and go
Sure.
ahead.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Nix, 17901 Sable Ridge Drive, South Bend, Indiana. I live in Clay Township and I live in the 1st District. I'd like to begin by also congratulating Ron Heglinski. I grew up a couple streets over from the Heglinski family. I can remember hanging out with one of Ron's older sisters in the playground at Ryer Street Park. So I think that was a great choice for Citizen of the Month. Can't think of a better candidate. The other question I have, it's a question, and I realize this is not a Q&A, but perhaps it could be addressed at some point. I noticed that since January 20th, the item of the Solid Waste Management District has been on the agenda every single meeting since January 20th, and it keeps getting pushed off. I'm wondering if there's some kind of problem or information that the public should know about this Solid Waste Management District that decisions aren't being made about it. So that was just a concern I had. It's been on the agenda every single month. I've gone back through the agendas and it doesn't seem to be getting resolved. So I just was curious about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Okay. Hearing none, I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second?
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
We are done.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.
Oh, you have good questions there.
So these girls will come